All right, hey everybody. So we're gonna do the last little bit and then we're gonna kind of go back in and fill in any spots that we're trying to figure out, okay? So the next thing on here is planned pattern. So you're gonna have to choose two, right? So your choices are half drop, alternating, and row. So you have to choose two of those. So I really like half drop. I think half drop looks amazing. And I think alternating is cool too. So I decided to do that kind of almost as like a background element. And for half drop, I'm going to draw it. Actually, I'm going to draw both of them. So I'm going to say draw it, and then I'm going to be like, yeah, same thing. That means, same thing. So I think for my half drop, I think it looks really cool to have, like, they kind of almost look like hangy things, like wind chimes or something. But you can see I made these little series of rectangles, right? So I've got this little row of rectangles. And then on the next row, if you go over and drop it down. So here's another rectangle. And it's just like this rectangle, except it's over and down, right? And then, over and down, over and down, over and down. And then I'm going to be like, okay, so I got to do that again. Over and down, over and down, over and down. Right? So this right here is a half drop pattern. So I'm going to have it be kind of like a background element. And I think it would be really cool if I did this with like a monochromatic watercolor. So like have a really, really light, I make everything purple. So maybe I'll have a really light green this time or something, and have a really light green and a slightly darker green background. So it doesn't have to stand out. It just has to be there. So I think I'm going to do watercolors. Oops. See, I told you. I just cannot spell. And I think I'm going to make it green. And I don't know. I'm going to call them hangy things. Hangy rectangles. Rectangles. Half drop. Half drop. So that's what I'm going to call it, because that's going to remind me. And if you're like, I don't think Missy's going to know what the heck I'm talking about, you could always draw a little mini picture and be like, here's what I'm talking about. Look, they're little hangy things. Now, I added in these little lines in the back because I thought it would be cool if they were hanging things. Okay, so the next one on there is alternating. So remember, alternating is when you do one thing and then you do another thing, and then you do one thing and then you do another thing, and then you do one thing and then you do another thing. So I decided to take one of the simplest forms, and I decided to do triangles where it's like right side up, upside down, right side up, upside down, right side up, upside down. And I'm going to do these similar to what I'm doing over here as far as like coloring them. I think I'm just going to have all of this stuff be kind of the same backgroundy kind of area. And so I think I'm going to do the same color scheme for these ones as I do for that one. But these ones, and you can see it's not a checkerboard, right? So like this whole row is, facing one way, and then this whole row is facing another way. So it's not a checkerboard. This is alternating, because it is all one thing, all the next thing, all one thing, all the next thing. Okay. So I'm going to do triangles like this. And I'm just going to label it like this and be like, haha, look, I'm going to do triangles, and same. I'm just going to put same, because I'm going to do watercolors in green. So same thing for that. Okay. We're almost there, peoples. So then unity. Okay. So unity, here's the thing we can do. You can do a couple different things. You can have a theme. If you're like, ooh, it'd be really cool is if I did the whole thing like, I always say Harry Potter, but like, I think I'm going to do Hunger Games, and I want to do like everything Hunger Games, or I want to do everything Star Wars or whatever. You could totally make this whole thing out of lightsabers. That would be amazing. But so you could do a theme and repeat some type of motif. So you could have like, Star Wars be your theme, or you could have something that included a motif that is repeated over and over again, and kind of have that symbol be your theme. So like for me, see how I've got like this shape with this little kind of 3 dots in the line? I have that repeated all over the place. Like that is a motif that I used a lot throughout, and I think I'm going to add it into these ones too. So I use that a lot. So mine kind of has a theme, like it's a Zentangle type theme, and I have a repeated motif. So I could go for that one. Or if I wanted to, if I didn't want to have all of this stuff, you know, spread out all over the place, I could have one idea per shape. So if I wanted to be like, okay, well, I'm going to do principles of design right here. And then I'm going to have, you know, balance and then like symmetry, asymmetry, radial symmetry. And I wanted to divide it up so that it only had one thing in each spot. So like, you know, if I use this one, maybe I would do that. Maybe I would have like each one of these be an individual piece, and then any extra ones could just get filled in with a pattern or something like that, right? But I decided to go with having a motif and kind of having the little, I'm going to draw it. So my theme is kind of Zen tangle, like beauty kind of a thing, and my motif is this. So I'm going to say motif. Okay, so here's my motif. I'm kind of going for a Zentangle themey type thing. I'm going to draw it. And then, you know, for this one, because Unity, like maybe you're going to tie everything together by having it all be watercolor or all be colored pencils or whatever. So you could kind of, you know, decide what media, or you might be like, all of them. And I think I'm gonna say all of them just because I feel like it. Okay, and then the very last thing, full background, okay? So mine looks really full right now, right? And if you choose to do like the one idea per shape, that's cool too. But you got to fill in the background, okay? It doesn't have to be like crazy. Like you don't have to have a gradient, but you could, that could be amazing. Like make a gradient that goes all the way across it. That would help tie it in together to show unity. But you got to have some type of background in there. Okay. So I think for my background, I'm going to paint it. So that would be in the other category. And I think maybe I'm going to do them. I'm going to try a gradient with watercolor. I think that might be cool. So I'm going to have like, so our shape's going to end up looking like this. Boop, boop. And then there's going to be all the little triangles and stuff. So, beep, mirror, 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 mirror. Okay. Blink, blink. Okay. So I'm going to have it change color going this way. Change color. So I'm going to have it like gradient across. That's how I've decided to do that one. Okay. So once you have this mostly filled out, you know, you can go back in now that you've thought about a bunch of different stuff, like go back in and think about like, you know, what media do you want to use for these? Maybe it's just, I'm going to use my pen for now. And if I want to add in something else later, because all these ones that I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, I'm drawing all of them. So maybe I want to tie them together by using my micron pen, or maybe I want to, you know, decide later that I'm also going to add the watercolors back in there. But there's a lot of room for creativity with this. There's a lot of room for changing your mind and seeing what it is that you want to do and how to include it. Right? So we're going to move on after this, and, you know, we're going to spend a bunch of days. You're basically going to have one day for like, well, I guess it'll be 2 days for every 3 of these. So like you'll have 3 of these done in 2 days for drawing it out and making it look amazing. And then we'll have some time for coloring it and all that kind of stuff too. So, really take your time, be creative. The more time you spend thinking about what you want it to look like, the more amazing it's going to turn out in the end. And really, that's what we want, right? We want some amazing stuff because you all are amazing. And I know you can make amazing things. So think about it, fill it out. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.